Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, one of the new guidelines for when cruising does finally start with passengers on board, well, one of the restrictions that are now in place really has some businesses worried. So one note in the CDC's guidelines for restricted passengers when cruise lines are finally able to set sail is that you have to have cruise line run only shore excursions. And they have to follow the mask wearing, social distancing, sterilization, etc., 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 which means if you get on a bus, you have to be 6 feet apart on a bus, which means every two rows are empty, then a seat. 2 rows are empty, then a seat. How many people are going to fit in a bus that holds 55 people if you have to keep 66% of the seats empty? It's going to be hard for shore excursions and businesses to come up with shore excursions. Now, there are the larger tour industries out there and the shore excursions that deal with the cruise lines all the time. But in places like Alaska and Ketchikan and Juneau, there are numerous small business tour operators and small businesses that rely on the cruise ship passengers just getting off, walking up to their booth, booking an shore excursion and going. Smaller, more intimate tours. Also, the businesses like restaurants and souvenir shops and pie making places, fish and chip stands, all those places rely on the cruise ship passengers just to walk off the ship, explore the town, and walk into their business. And the CDC is now saying, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. And they're also telling, by the way, Bahamas, Jamaica, St. Kitts, all you guys, you can't do that either. Your businesses can't do that neither. Which is one of the main reasons those countries want the cruise ships back. They want those businesses back in business. They want the tourism dollar. They want people's jobs to start up again. And this restriction, for however long it lasts, because just because it's a restriction now, and we say, well, it might end, in November. Well, yeah, it might. It might go all next year too. We don't know. We have no idea what the CDC's restrictions are going to be as they consider the world a global pandemic. They might say in the United States you can go to these businesses and things like that, but they might not say that you can do it in Jamaica, that you can do it in St. Kitts. You cannot do it in Barbados. So this could go on for a long time. And places like Alaska, who hugely rely on the cruise ship industry and the tourism industry and have a lot of businesses that rely on walk-off traffic. I'd say about 50% of all people on a cruise ship don't take those cruise ship excursions. They just want to walk through the ports. They just want to walk through the parks. They'll take a taxi to go over to the glacier. They'll do those sort of things. And that's tourism dollars and businesses for places other than the big companies. And so a lot of people are very concerned over that ruling by the CDC, stating that they cannot run businesses in other countries, even in the United States. Even in the United States, they cannot. So for instance, Florida is open right now, right? There are no restrictions. Well, when you come back to the port, you can't just hop off the port in Florida, supposedly, and walk around on your own. Say you're on a 14-day cruise, you're leaving Fort Lauderdale, you come back to Fort Lauderdale, you leave again, right? It's a northern western cruise or a southern western cruise. And when you get back to Fort Lauderdale, basically you either have to book a excursion from the cruise line to go someplace, but you can't just walk off the port and visit the town or take a boat ride along the canals, or visit a restaurant that you wanted to dine at. Because you can't do that now. You cannot do that even in the United States. You have to take a ship excursion, which when you think about it, considering you can go watch baseball now, you can go watch hockey, you can go watch basketball, you can go to the movie theaters, you can go eat indoor restaurants. Disneyland is open, Disney World is open, Universal Studios is open, flights around the world are open. It kind of makes you say, how are you controlling cruise lines this much? There's no restrictions when somebody arrives in another country the CDC has issued saying you can't do something. You can't just get off the plane and then you have to take a guided tour someplace to get back on that plane to come back to the United States. No, you just can go whatever and do whatever you want. You can go to India. You can fly to Frankfurt, go to India where there's a huge pandemic, walk around, just tour the place, get back to Frankfurt, and then fly back to the United States. No questions asked. But you can't get off a port in Alaska, walk to a crab shack, and grab some food. You can't do that. Makes you kind of wonder, where are these arbitrary rules coming from? And why, oh why, is it only the cruise industry? And a lot of people are waking up to that now and saying, why is it only the cruise industry? Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.